New controversy this morning surrounding three big decisions President Obama appears to be making. First up, the president coming out against releasing alleged abuse photos of the suspected terrorist detainees. And then second, the president reportedly considering to keep some detainees in the U.S. indefinitely. Third, President Obama reviving the Bush administration's much criticized military tribunals for detainees. Let's bring in our political panel to weigh in on things. Joining me live from Washington, D.C., Democratic strategist Chris Kofinis. Also live in D.C., Republican strategist Matt Mackowiak. Hello, guys. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, Chris, I'm going to go with you first here. President Obama angering some Democrats with these moves. First up, do you agree with the president? Does he risk some harsh backlash from some of his most ardent supporters now?
Well, I do agree with the president. I think what the problem here is, if you looked at the president in terms of both how he ran as a candidate and how he's governed, I mean, the reality is he was always run as kind of a pragmatic politician, and I think these are pragmatic decisions, very difficult decisions, and obviously I think very kind of upsetting decisions to certain groups on the left. But in terms of both the photos and the tribunals, they're probably the best solution to deal with a very difficult problem. In terms of the tribunals, I mean, I think they're dealing with a problem that the Bush administration has left over for them. They've expanded, I think, the rights and protections for these detainees in order to give them some degree of, obviously, justice. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't think there's an easy way out of it. And this is, I think, what the Obama administration has been dealing with. And I think their outcome is probably the best. Yep. Given the circumstances.
Now, you know what, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you'd be happy to do so, my friend Chris, but, you know, didn't during the campaign it go something like this? We're closing Gitmo, we are going to have no military tribunals, and we're going to release all the pictures of the detainees. I mean, I guess you can discuss the extent to which it's different being a candidate and being on the campaign trail versus trying to govern, because that you got to do a little bit more from the middle.
Well, I think part of it is you have to kind of do it more from the middle, and I think the other part of it is when you get there and you're faced with the information that you just don't have as a candidate, I think it also changes your decision making. And I think what the president and the administration has struggled with is, you know, how do you deal with the fact that you have a, you know, in terms of the tribunals, a legacy problem left over from the Bush administration. You kind of have to find a balance, and I think they're doing that. At the end of the day, you're not going to make everyone happy, no matter, you know, what kind of president or what political party you come from.
Okay.
You just try to make the best decision you can.
Here's what's interesting. Sounds like a few people are being made happy right with this, Matt. On the flip side, you've got Republicans praising the president. You have Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina saying President Obama is, quote, making some pretty intelligent, well-reasoned decisions about trying to clean up the old system, but not throwing it out. Do you agree, Matt, with your fellow Republican on his assessment of President Obama's recent moves?
I do. I do think he made the responsible decision on these issues. I know that these are controversial issues, but look, I mean, I think it shows how irresponsible President Obama's positions were when he ran for president, trying to appeal to his liberal base. He is now absolutely showing the difference between being a candidate and being the commander-in-chief. On the detainee photo issue, he had his two commanding generals in Iraq and Afghanistan pleading with him not to release these photos, and he agreed. And in fact, he told General Odierno, who is the commanding general in Iraq, that it was actually an easy decision. So I think it does show that he had irresponsible positions when he ran for president, but in terms of military commissions and detainee photos, he came down with the right decision.
Chris, do these Obama decisions at all justify anything that came from the Bush administration?
No, I don't think they justify it. And here's the problem with this notion of, you know, these being irresponsible positions that the candidate Obama took when he was running for president. These were irresponsible decisions made by the Bush administration that has left this president, this administration, in the unenviable position of having to deal with Guantanamo, of having to deal, for example, with abuse photos, of having to deal with the remnants of torture. These are all the byproduct of terrible and bad decisions made consistently year after year during the Bush administration. So the notion that somehow that's irresponsible, I mean, I want Matt to talk about how irresponsible the Bush administration was for 8 years. I mean, that is the reality that we faced.
Matt, what do you think the reasoning is behind all these decisions by President Obama? Is it simply political, or is there more to it?
No, I don't think it's politics. In fact, I think it's a very stark difference between President Obama, who has come down with really pragmatic decisions this week, and the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, who has decided to blame the CIA, accuse them of lying to Congress, which is a crime, Meanwhile, President Obama is recognizing the positions he had when he ran for president are not pragmatic and would not be good for the national security of the country. So yeah, whether it pertained to Guantanamo Bay, which just this morning Senator Jim Webb from Virginia, a Democrat, said that the timeline that Obama has on Guantanamo is not reasonable, and we need to be careful that none of those prisoners come into the United States. These are thorny issues. There's no doubt that the former President Bush left these thorny issues for President Obama, but I do think he's making some of the right decisions now, and they do tend to line up more closely with President Bush than the liberal base would like it to be.
Okay. Do I detect some degree of agreement between the two of you? Chris and Matt?
Not really.
No, not really.
Not really. Not really.
Okay, let me just clean up my ears. All right, got it. Okay, thanks very much, Matt Mackowiak and
Thanks,
Chris
Alex.
Kafinas. Thanks so much.